All right, welcome to another broadcast of Unleash Independence. We have Cameron, who I'm sure you've met before if you watched our videos. Welcome, Cameron.
Oh, sorry. Yes. Hey. How's it going?
And then we have Cara from Minnesota. She's a part of the Libertarian Party on the executive board. Is that what it's called?
That is correct, yes.
Awesome. So, Cara, how did you come into liberty? I guess when did you first start getting involved in, I guess, protecting liberty?
I've always been a small L libertarian. And whether you call it a small L libertarian, conservative, or whatever, that's always been where I've sat. Uh, you know, Mostly I have in previous years voted GOP, simply because a lot of the areas of traditional areas that they would infringe on liberty. Generally would be struck down through the court system, whereas in the DFL, in Minnesota, the Democrat Party is DFL, Democrat Farmers and Laborers, their infringements generally stood up in court. So that was kind of the voting strategy I had on that. But now that we're having more libertarian candidates that are viable for offices, it's time to get involved in a true liberty movement.
Awesome. So Cameron's done a lot of research on this, so I'll let him kind of ask the question on more on the gun ban that Minnesota's trying to currently pass. So Cameron, what is that bill called again?
My understanding is it's HF 241, and from my understanding, what it does is it basically gives people from Minnesota three options. One, you can get out of the state. Two, you can destroy your own firearms. Or three, you can turn them over to the police to destroy the firearms. There is no grandfather clause, and it's so expansive that even some like old long rifles that shoot 22 caliber, I mean, little teeny, just a little bit bigger than what you might consider a pellet gun to be, would be banned. And so we actually had some people from Minnesota contact us and ask that we take a look into this. So we've emailed all of the representatives, and we've been working on that. But that's why we wanted to reach out to parties in the Minnesota state. So, anyways, how's my understanding of this bill?
Yes, there's actually 12 and possibly more bills that are being introduced. They will be roped together in an omnibus bill. So it will be an all or nothing passage. One of them goes so far to say you cannot have body armor unless you register it. You register and you get a permit to have body armor. And the wording is so vague, which it really says any protective gear that would keep a projectile from entering, which could be anything from a snowmobile suit to your child's football gear or anything like that. So we do have that, and then yes, it does go to House File 241, which you mentioned. You are correct, there's no grandfathering. It does greatly expand the number of weapons that are put in that category. It does include shotguns, it includes handguns, and it includes revolvers, because one of the sections within it says if a weapon can do shot shells and can have 5 or more loaded at once, then that would be a prohibited weapon, and that's most every revolver can shoot that type of shell. So it would include that as well. There's no grandfathering. You are correct. There are options that a person can do. They're very onerous. Yes, you can turn it into law enforcement to have your weapon destroyed, and many people here have weapons as heirlooms. That's all they have from their grandparents, that type of thing. Those weapons would be destroyed. You can get them out of the state. Or you can register them, but when you register them, not only do you have to register them each year, not only do you have to pay to have them registered each year, but law enforcement can enter your home at any time to make sure your weapon is properly secured.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is
Fun, huh?
outrageous, in my opinion.
It is. It is.
That is just ridiculous. Who's writing
Now,
this?
so sorry. My understanding is it bans shotguns, handguns, revolvers, rifles. I mean, all the huge gamut of weapons. You get your old ball, your lead ball and gunpowder guns, or old muskets. You can keep those.
Yeah, evidently, yeah. The amount of weapons that would not go under this is very small. It is a very small amount, and Minnesotans are just starting to wake up to that. I think some Minnesotans are hearing this and they're thinking, oh, well, I'm a hunter, this really doesn't affect me, or I have a revolver, or I have a handgun, those types of things. This law is not going to affect me. And they are waking up to the fact that, yes, it absolutely will affect you. One of the other bills is proposing that before you can get a permit for a weapon, you have to undergo a psychological evaluation. So there's all kinds of little tidbits thrown in these bills to make life interesting.
Interesting. So we've got some responses back from some of the politicians there. I can't remember the names. Cameron might know the exact ones, but they were just saying, like, there's no way this is going to pass. Have you heard anything?
If this was not being presented as an omnibus, I would be because they're wrapping this up as an omnibus, I think it actually increases the chance that it could pass, mainly because we have a compliant press who's reporting it as, oh, these are just, it's strengthening mental health, and it's, just for those evil assault weapons and things like that. They're making it seem very reasonable. If these bills were presented individually, I think most of them would not pass. But I'm a little nervous. I know that we do have a DFL House, a DFL Senate, and we have a DFL governor, and they are the politicians that are pushing this. Now, this does not break down strictly on party lines amongst voters. Many voters in Minnesota, no matter if you're you tend to vote conservative or Republican. Libertarians are definitely against this, but no matter on that, they're very much for gun rights. It'll just be if some of the voters in the outlying areas, who they are Democratic voters, get a hold of their Democratic representatives and make it plain to them that this will be an issue at the ballot. If they vote for this, if they pass it, they absolutely will not support, will not vote for that person. And I do believe that that would be the case. People feel very strongly about it.
Now, what can people do within the state? I mean, I have a few questions. This has opened up some things that I didn't actually know. I did know about the psych evaluation,
Yes.
but what can people do to get mobilized? Kind of what we say is get off Facebook and start doing something.
Yes.
So how can people contact you, or is there a petition going around?
Mm-hmm.
What is the solution to this?
Okay, there's several things that people can do. Definitely contact your representative. Yes, email them, but you know what? Call them, or make the trip to the Capitol and go see them. They have to see you. They can't blow you off. If you are a constituent and you show up and you ask to see them, you will get in. Express your views. That is one of the biggest things people can do. Yes, you can join organizations. You can join the Libertarian Party of Minnesota. We've been pushing very hard against this issue. You can also join groups like the Gun Owners Association in Minnesota. They are also pushing against it. So there are groups. You can join the NRA. There's many groups that you can join to make your voice heard. But I really urge people to contact your representative and make it very plain that all of these bills are unacceptable. And there's groups that traditionally are not aligned with Second Amendment groups that are coming to fight this battle, and some of them are mental health advocates. They are really pushing against many of these bills because one of the bills has a provision in it that if you voluntarily seek mental health services, you'll be stripped of your rights, and then you have to enter a lengthy process that you would then get your rights back. And their view is, if you're going to strip rights for this, would you also strip voting rights? Would you do other rights like that are enumerated to citizens because someone sought medical health help? Don't we want to encourage people if they are having a problem? And most people seeking mental health services are not, crazy people. They had a situation. They had a divorce. Someone died. They had an acute situation that they need help over a limited period of time, and then they're fine. They're not a problem. Also, in the stigmatization of people who have mental health challenges, only 5% of all violent crimes are committed by people who have mental health concerns. They're more apt to be the victims than the perpetrators. So, we're finding allies in other areas as people are starting to read these bills and become aware of everything that is in them.
So you're saying, like, if you just feel bad about a certain situation and then you go to your doctor, they could strip you your rights of owning a gun? Is that what I heard right?
What it is it needs to be some type of hold or hospitalization or anything like that. And that could also be for chemical abuse. So say you're an alcoholic and you check yourself in to get services so that you're no longer an alcoholic. Yes, you would be then stripped of your rights. If you are depressed over some type of situation, you had a divorce, and so you seek hospitalization or you seek inpatient care for a few days, yes, you would be stripped of your rights. Another thing is, if police decide to have an assessment made on you, say they find you in some type of situation, and most of these, it's just someone's drunk and belligerent. They don't really need mental health services. They're just having a bad night and too many six-packs. But police call and they want to have an evaluation done. That is considered a hospitalization, and so you would lose your rights, even though once you go there and a mental health care professional evaluates you, they say, no, you're just drunk, belligerent, you had a bad night. You don't need mental health services. They would consider that an episode, and you would be stripped of your rights. You then have to go through a evaluation. You have to go through a court process to get your rights back. And that is a subjective, not objective process that you'd go through.
I just want to address, we're going to send this video out, email it to all the legislatures we already have, which is everyone in the House and then all of the Senate leaders. It goes to the House first, is my understanding.
Correct.
I want everyone that watches this to understand, first off, like the email that we sent out, the rights are, we call them constitutional rights. I think that's a fallacy. I don't think that that's true. Our rights do not come from the Constitution. Mm-hmm. The Constitution simply just enumerated them because, because of the importance of them. But so there's no such thing as stripping rights away. And then for the individual, if your rights are stripped away, personally, my belief is you allowing somebody, because of force or whatever, maybe it's a justifiable reason, your rights to be taken away. I think it's time that they need to step up. People need to take action, or else, what happens when you live in a society where you have no means of protecting yourself, and they go so that you may not be able to vote, or where does the line drawn, and then you can't own body armor, you can't own a heavy coat that might stop a sort of projectile. This is insanity. It really is.
Yeah, it is. These laws taken together, especially since they're going to be packaged as an omnibus bill, many people, many citizens have brought up the question of, what are you going to do when there's mass non-compliance, as there already is in New York. New York is seeing mass and brazen non-compliance with the gun restrictions that they passed. What happens when you see that happen in Minnesota? And most of the provisions that they're putting in as felonies. So if you go against these laws, then it's a felony that then you're kind of hung up on that. So what are they going to do if there's mass noncompliance? And it is an interesting question.
So also, Cara, one last question. So when is this? Do you know when this is going to be voted on in the House by chance?
They have not said when they're going to vote on it. They just finished with the public hearings yesterday, and we're going to pay attention for when they do that, because we suspect when they bring this omnibus up, it's going to go very fast. It's going to be announced very quickly. It's going to happen very quickly. They'll try to rush it through.
Perfect. Well, Cara, thank you so much. I think we need more people like you who are so educated on local issues. Everyone focuses on Washington, D.C. when it seems like our state can pass something like that. So thank you so much for what you're doing. We really appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, and
Hey, yeah, absolutely. And as this progresses, we hope to maybe have you on again, so kind of bring you on and keep everyone updated. Please be in contact with us as far as anything that we could do to help preserve these rights.
Most definitely. Thank you.
all right, thanks, Cara, and everybody. We'll have their information, the Libertarian Party in Minnesota, so you can contact them, find out what you need to do. We'll also have the list of reps you can contact in Minnesota if you want to help out. So again, and remember, own your life.
UnleashIndependence.com